All right, part two of three lessons that men should live by in 2026. I do have my American flag behind me in the back, so we truthfully do live in the greatest country in the entire world. 80 years ago, 21-year-old male man, 80 years ago would have to storm the Normandy beaches to liberate France from Nazi Germany occupation, just literally getting shot on the Normandy beaches on D-Day. So unfortunately for you, if you are a young guy and your life is terrible and you're depressed and you're upset, at least you're not in the World War One trenches. At least you're not on the beaches of Normandy getting shot at. So you're very blessed to be alive, truthfully, to live to, especially if you're in America. Something to be very grateful of. So, secondly, I think the biggest thing for me and for other men in 2026, especially, the word is going to be raw action and impatience. So you don't be the kind of guy that says, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Take action. You need to be the kind of guy that writes things down and say, yeah, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. You need to be that guy. Don't be that kind of guy that talks about all the stuff he's going to do. You need to take action. Every time you get an idea, you need to take action on it the day you get that idea. Don't be the kind of guy that thinks about things and talks about ideas and then takes, 2 months to start things. All of your plans that you've thought about doing in April, in June, in October, you need to start right now. If you say you're going to be that guy, you say you're going to get in shape this year, you need to go to the gym today. You should have gone today. If you're thinking, you know what, maybe last year I slacked on the gym, maybe last year I got a little bit out of shape, I'm not going to wait until some magic new year to start. It doesn't even matter if it's December 23rd. If you want to lose weight, you want to be that guy that gets back in shape, you need to start today. If you say you're going to start a business, you're going to start an agency, that needs to start today. You say you're going to start cold approaching women, you're going to start getting more of a dating life. That needs to happen today. Don't be the kind of guy that says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Be a guy that takes action. If you have an idea, you need to take action on it today. For example, I decided that I want to get more into making content. So I've bought a microphone from Amazon. I have done research into camera settings to get the best performing audio quality because I'm serious about making a content and making clips and growing a business. That's why I'm recording this. I'm taking action. If you want to be that kind of guy in 2026, you can't be patient. Impatience. If you have an idea, it needs to start now. If you said you were going to do better in your classes this semester and you have a midterm coming up in 2 weeks, you don't wait until the day before the test. You need to start reviewing your notes now. Impatience is the name of the game. Don't be the kind of guy that says, I'm going to start on Friday. I'm going to start next week. If you have an idea, you need to start today. Brutal impatience. Take action as soon as possible. If you have an idea, you need to start now. Raw action is going to be the only way you're ever going to win into this world. Because ideas truthfully are worthless. I mean, we all have ideas. We all have ideas and things that we're going to do. But ideas are worthless. So if you also understand, say if you have 20 business ideas, right? 19 of them are probably going to fail. So you just need to be the kind of guy that's able to try something 20 times in a fast amount of time. You got to be that guy. You got to be that kind of guy that says, you know what, you're going to do something, you're going to do it. When you're the kind of guy and you say, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym every single day for an hour this year. You need to be the kind of guy that you say that to, and people say, yeah, you know what, he's going to do that. You need to be the kind of guy that says, you know what, I'll do X, Y, Z for you. I can do the homework project myself. Say you're in a group project and say you're in a group of, say, 5 classmates. You need to be the kind of guy that says, you know what, I'll do it tonight and I'll submit it by midnight today. You need to be the kind of guy that people are like, you know what, yeah, he'll do it. He's a man of his word. He does what he says. So you need to be that kind of guy. And this also goes back to you don't need to be blaming anyone else for your problems. You need to become a kind of guy that says, you know what, I want to achieve X, Y, and Z today. I'm going to take action on them right now, and I'm not going to blame anyone else for my problems. I'm going to accept the outcome, and I'm going to learn from the outcome. That's the only way you're ever going to get ahead. You're never going to get ahead by blaming anyone else for your problems. You're never going to get ahead by saying that it's the Jews that are holding me down, or there's a woman that's holding me down, Or my ex-girlfriend that broke my heart a year ago is holding me down and stopping me from being able to study. Or my friends from high school that make fun of me are stopping me from getting in shape and going to the gym. No one can hold you down if you are a winner. You need to try to win. You need to try to be that guy that no one can hold down. Everyone wants to know that you can do what you say you do. Brutal impatience, take action, do what you say you're going to do. There's nothing more irritating being around people that are lazy and don't want to take accountability for their actions. You need to be that kind of guy that you decide you're going to do something today and you take action on it immediately. And I get it. It's definitely not easy. I get it. Some days you wake up and you're tired and you're sad and just you have a bunch of other things to do and you just don't want to work. You need to be that kind of guy that's able to get up and work anyway. You got to be that guy. That's the only way you're ever going to get ahead in life. Third lesson for things that men need to do in 2026 is you need to have masculine friendship. You need to be friends with other men. You need to have your boys that are on the same path as you. Because truthfully, I feel like a lot of guys nowadays, there are a lot of these things called dudes that are like girlfriend cucks. We'll say like they're young, they'll get their first ever serious girlfriend. And they're just literally, their entire world revolves around the girl, right? And you can't live like that. You need to have other friends. You need to be hanging out with other men that are interested in money. And truthfully, when you have a good group of guys that you're able to talk about money with, or you're able to talk about your life with, you're able to kind of date and cold approach women. And you don't really care if you get rejected. Because I feel like a lot of guys, they feel really alone. They don't have big friend groups. And that's probably why they're depressed. So they'll center their entire life around this girlfriend that they have. And then when the girl breaks their heart, right? Like they get sad, they get depressed because they don't have other male friends to hang out with. But you need to be hanging out with other men. You need to be going out and trying to meet other men that are interested in making money and the same things that you are. In doing that, you'll curate a life for yourself where you wake up every single day and you want to compete with other men. You were excited to wake up. You're excited to get to work. And you're able to cold approach women and you don't really care if you get rejected by one because you already know, it's like, all right, that girl rejected me, but I'd rather hang out with my friends anyway. It's like, you know what? There was this girl that I kind of liked. She made plans with me tonight. She canceled our dinner date or whatever. But you know what? It's fine. I would rather hang out with my friends anyway. You need to be that guy that has masculine friendship, truthfully. So, or else you're just going to be depressed, right? So you need to be going out. You need to be trying to make friends. Life is extremely difficult, but it becomes a lot easier when you have other men and friends that are on the same path as you and want you to succeed. Life truthfully does become a lot easier. And that's the whole entire reason why I'm doing this. I want to make content. I want to get my name out there. I have a virtual assistant employee in the Philippines. His entire job is doing my social media content and clipping and getting my name out there. The entire reason I'm doing this is because I want to meet other men worldwide that are interested in making money, that are interested in doing the same things that I am. So I can wake up every single day, be like, you know what, I have a good group of guys that I can compete with and I can talk to that make my life worth living. So I don't care if I get rejected by a girl. I don't care because I have a group of other like-minded men that I can hang out with and joke about every single time, every single day. So running back, 3 things this year that you should be doing. You need to be the kind of guy that takes absolute self-accountability for everything in his life. Everything is your fault, the good and the bad. You don't blame anything else on anyone else. Number 2, you need to be the guy that takes action immediately. You don't wait. As soon as you have an idea, you execute. You don't say, I'm too tired today. I don't feel like doing it. We're men of action. We act. Leave the feelings to the girls. You're a man. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do regardless of how you feel. You be the kind of guy that says, I want to do X, Y, Z today, and I'm going to do it regardless of how I feel. Number 3, you need to be attempting to develop masculine friendships. You need to be friends with other men that are on the same path as you. You need to build a network of healthy competition where you feel like you're competing with other men or other men to do good at something. Like say, who in this physics class can score the highest on this exam? Let's say you're in a physics class. You need to become friends with other men in your class. You need to hang out with them. You need to joke. You need to laugh. You need to enjoy your life together. But also you need to compete. You need to say, you know what? Let's bet and we'll see who can score the highest on the next midterm exam. I'll bet you $500 worth of Bitcoin that I can score higher on the next exam than you. And you start having these conversations with your friends. And instead, the next day, say the week before the midterm, instead of waking up and feeling exhausting and tired and dreading to go to class, you now have something to wake up to and be happy to. You're like, you know what? Physics lecture sucks, but I got to beat them. I don't even care how much I don't even care how terrible it is. I got to beat them. I got to go to class. I got to study. And that's just an academic example, which I've done before. I've bet some of my friends Bitcoin to see who could score higher in the exam, and it made it fun. And that's just an academic example. So there are probably other business endeavors. You need to get some friends. You need to start competing. You say, you know what? Who has the best ideas today? Who has gone to training today? Who has worked all day, every single day today? Who has discovered new ways to make money today? You need to curate a network of other masculine men. And truthfully, that'll leave you a lot happier and it'll make your life a lot more worth living and it'll stop you from being sad. So those are the 3 things you should live by in 2026. Good luck.